Hi, I'm John Maxwell. When the top companies in the world are looking for trainers, speakers, and coaches, there's one name that stands above the rest, and that's Maxwell Leadership. Our certified team members have gotten proven results for companies all over the globe, and our reputation, I'm proud to say, is second to none. Some of our members have risen to the top of their profession, including the one you're going to meet today. I proudly introduce you to my friend Bob Fabian Zinka.
Welcome to the Leadership and Success Podcast with your host, Coach BZ, where we help you lead with purpose and succeed with impact. If you're ready to grow into the kind of leader others want to follow, this podcast is for you. If you're determined to elevate your success and leave a lasting legacy, this podcast is for you. As my mentor, Dr. John C. Maxwell reminds us, everything rises and falls on leadership. Our goal is simple: to inspire you, challenge you, and equip you with insights that can transform the trajectory of your leadership journey. Welcome aboard to another episode of the Leadership and Success Podcast with Coach BZ.
Hey, I'm Johnny Lynum, a husband, father, Air Force Lieutenant Colonel, retired, and real estate investor. After 20 years of military service, I made it my mission to help hardworking professionals build financial freedom and legacy through real estate and smart investing. Like many people, I worked long hours and raised a family, but I realized real wealth doesn't come from trading time for money. It comes from owning assets, understanding how money works, and letting your money work for you. I started investing while still on active duty, one property at a time, and it changed everything for me and my family. Now I help others do the same thing through my REI Genius community, the $1 Million Coffee, and our Financial Freedom Network. Here, you'll learn proven real estate strategies, financial education, and faith-based principles that align purpose with profit. If you're ready to take control of your financial future, subscribe and join the
What do you think is the greatest lesson you have ever learned throughout your Air Force career and your entrepreneurship journey? What is the greatest lesson learned so far?
The greatest lesson learned, I would say for me, it was the decision-making process and being able to be comfortable making decisions without 100% of the information. That was something as a captain when I talked about going into my sabbatical as an intelligence officer, and that was critical. Where a lot of times as an engineer that you want to think and you want to prove out your theories and have all the information and go through a methodical process.
Yes.
But when it comes to leadership and when it comes to battle and when it comes to leading operations, you're never going to have 100% of the information.
Yes.
And you have to be comfortable leading in that environment. And so I think that was the most critical piece that I learned, and I take that with me every day in every investment, every deal, and every meeting and situation where I'm making decisions. I've become extremely comfortable with making quick decisions and being able to course correct when necessary. If the information we learn later, and my dad was a pastor and entrepreneur as well too. He had an appliance and television repair business, and my mom worked in the laboratory there in the local hospital. And a hardworking family, and that work ethic spilled into me. And everything and how I showed up in my schoolwork was very well in regards to, approaching school and using it as a tool coming out of high school. I actually had a 4-year Army ROTC scholarship, and I went to the University of Alabama for my in-person interview. And my dad, who was a Vietnam vet, he challenged me to go and speak with the Air Force while on campus. And that decision
was your dad in the Air Force also in Vietnam?
He was
Army.
Yeah, so he was Army Vietnam vet.
Why in the world did he ask you to go to the Air Force and not to the Army? Because Alabama has ROTC, Air Force and Army.
Right. And so for the quality of life, he saw both sides of it. And he's like, hey, and a lot of the, the jokes they have out there, just the quality of life has versus the Army.
The Air Force,
and what I've seen is true.
Yes. They build the golf course first, and then they build everything else, which is pretty cool. Yeah, because I remember in 1996, I was a student at UA, and I talked to both ROTC, Air Force, and Army. Back then, I didn't care, but I wasn't a US citizen, so they both asked me to go Pakistan. But anyway, wow, that is pretty cool. But when I eventually joined the military after 9/11, it was I talked to all four of them, including the crazy Marines, but it was very simple. It's like it's going to be the Navy or the Air Force because we have the two branches. I mean, God bless them. We need soldiers and Marines. Today is the day before Veterans Day 2025, and I have a very, very special guest for you. But before I introduce him, let's go ahead and do what we do on this program. Take a moment for a moment of gratitude. This takes less than a minute, and it's just something we are accustomed to do. We want to be thankful every time we meet. And part of the reason why we do this is because of the numbers of suicide in the military. About 22 suicides. Veteran commit suicide every single day, and you can commit suicide, be suicidal, and be grateful at the same time. So if you would close your eyes and think about one thing that you are grateful for today. And I think today I am really grateful for all of the veterans across America, those who have served even just for one day, those who have fought each and every one of our wars, and those who have put on the uniform of our country and volunteered and said, yes, I will serve, protecting our freedom and democracy even around the world. So I'm so, so grateful. All right. So let me see if I can introduce our guest. Today, we are going to be speaking to Lieutenant Colonel.
So, what happens when you take 2 decades of elite military leadership and smash it together with the world of real estate and entrepreneurship? Well, you get a playbook for success that's unlike anything you've ever seen. Today, we're going to break down the story of a leader who literally built a bridge from the flight line to financial freedom. And believe me, it all kicks off with one single powerful idea.
And this is it. This idea is so powerful. I mean, most people think the profit comes at the very end of a deal, right? When you sell. But Lt Col Johnny Lynum says, nope, you've got it backwards. The victory is actually secured right at the beginning, all through foresight and just decisive action. And you'll see, this isn't just about investing, it's a whole philosophy for leadership.
So who is the man behind this powerful mindset? Well, let me introduce you to Lt Col Johnny Lynum. He's a 20-year Air Force veteran who took a really distinguished military career and translated it into becoming a real estate mogul, an author, and a mentor. And now he's known as the military CEO.
Now, what we're about to get into is so much more than just a success story. Think of it as a masterclass in the principles that connect military discipline to building wealth, to overcoming massive failure, and ultimately to creating a lasting legacy. And the crazy thing is, that foundation was built long before he ever made his first investment.
Every great leader has an origin story, right? Well, for Lynum, his core principles were forged way before he was managing billion-dollar portfolios. It all started with his 2 decades of service in the U.S. Air Force.
So you got to go all the way back to his beginnings in small-town Alabama. He was shaped by these 2 really powerful influences. His dad, who was a pastor and an entrepreneur, taught him, hey, if you want to be wealthy, you got to work for yourself. Meanwhile, his mom modeled this incredible discipline and compassion. So when it was time for college, his father, who is an Army vet himself, gave him this game-changing piece of advice. Go talk to the Air Force.
And wow, did that advice launch a career. We're talking about a decorated 20-year journey. It started with him commissioning as an engineer in 2005, then leading these critical intelligence operations in Afghanistan, and eventually managing billion-dollar portfolios for the nation's top defense agencies. I mean, his whole career was just a pressure cooker for leadership.
And after all that, what was the single most important lesson he took from it all? This, right here. Think about it. In combat, in high-stakes projects, you never ever have perfect certainty. The crucial difference is that great leaders, they don't wait. They make the best call they can with the info they have, and then they adjust on the fly. And this becomes his superpower in the business world.
All right, now let's see how this military mindset actually translates into his next mission, going from a career defending the nation to building a financial fortress for his family. And get this, he did it all while still on active duty.
You know, the motivation wasn't just raw ambition, it was pure necessity. After he and his wife welcomed their child, they made the big decision to become a one-income family. That personal pivot, that single choice is what ignited his entire journey into real estate. It forced him to find new ways to provide for his family.
This right here, this represents a huge internal shift he had to make. He had to move away from what you'd call a scarcity mindset, being totally dependent on that one paycheck, and embrace a wealth mindset. And what does that mean? It meant trading dependency for action, trading waiting for execution, and seeing money not as some limited thing, but as a tool to create options. But look, this transformation was not a straight line to success, not even close. On one deal, he faced a massive setback. Just look at that number, a loss of over $200,000. This wasn't some tiny mistake. For an aspiring investor, this was the kind of failure that could have ended his career before it even started. But remember that military mindset we've been talking about? He saw this devastating loss in a completely different light. See, an apartment project he was working on got vandalized, and the insurance wouldn't cover it. The loss wasn't just financial. It was a real-time lesson in risk and resilience. For him, that failure basically became tuition. It was a tough, expensive lesson, but it taught him to analyze deals more deeply and gave him the mental toughness to stay in the game. So the big question is, how did he take these tough lessons and turn them into a repeatable system for success? Well, he developed a clear, actionable playbook, applying that military precision to the messy world of real estate investing. He calls it the Find, Finance, Fix, and Finish framework, and honestly, you should think of it just like a military operation. Find is your recon, identifying the target. Finance is your logistics, securing the resources. Fix is the execution of the mission, and Finish is your successful extraction. You get out with a clear win. But here's the kicker. Of those 4 steps, he always stresses that the reconnaissance phase, the find, is the most critical one, and it's the one everybody underestimates. This brings it all back to his core philosophy, right? Your profit isn't made when you sell. The mission is won or lost based on the quality of your intel and how you acquire the asset in the first place. Now, his playbook isn't just about strategy. It's also about character. He leads with what he calls the 3 C's. First is compassion, to stay human and connected to your people. Second is competence, because that's what earns trust and gets the mission done. And third is courage, to keep moving forward even when the path is foggy. And this slide just maps it out perfectly. The skills you hone in the military aren't just kinda transferable, they are a massive competitive advantage. Defining the mission, that becomes setting a clear vision. Empowering your troops, that's trusting your team. And those honest debriefs, they're your after-action reviews in business. It's the same operating system, just running in a different arena. But for the military CEO, this is about way more than just building a portfolio or a business. It's about answering a much, much deeper question about what the ultimate mission really is. And he challenges all of us to ask ourselves this question. After all the deals are done and the titles are gone, what are you actually going to leave behind? I mean, that question just shifts your entire focus from simply accumulating stuff to creating a lasting, meaningful impact. And here's his answer to that big question. For Lynum, success isn't about the chase at all. It's about stewardship. It's this core belief that any wealth, influence, or leadership you have are just resources entrusted to you, and your job is to manage them for the good of others, your family, your team, your whole community. So, if we boil this all down, what are the key takeaways from his playbook? Number 1, lead decisively. You'll never have all the info, so just go. Number 2, build early. Time is your greatest asset. Number 3, serve first. Leadership is about lifting other people up. 4, stay faithful, because character is the only thing that lasts. And finally, number 5, define your legacy, because true success is measured by what outlasts you. Ultimately, when you look at it, Lynum's entire journey really comes down to this single, powerful idea. Whether you're on a flight line or in the world of finance, real freedom begins with ownership. So the question he leaves us with isn't just what you'll own, but what part of your own destiny you're willing to command, starting right now.
Welcome to the podcast where we dig into a journey that takes you from the flight line to financial freedom. Yes, we're talking about the incredible path of a military leader turned real estate maven.
Yeah, exactly. Right, so his roots begin in Grove Hill, Alabama, a small town with just 3 traffic lights, and his parents instilled in him the importance of hard work and serving others.
Absolutely, and it's kinda fascinating how his dad, a pastor and entrepreneur, and his mom, a lab tech, shaped a mindset that mixed faith with business savvy.
And then there's that pivotal moment with his ROTC scholarship at the University of Alabama. His dad, a Vietnam veteran, basically said, "Talk to the Air Force because quality of life matters." Pretty bold advice, don't you think?
Yeah, it's like totally unexpected but so on point. That conversation truly steered him into a 20-year career in the Air Force, where he went from F-15 systems engineering to leading multi-million-dollar projects and handling high-stake intelligence operations.
Right? So even while commanding troops in intense settings like Afghanistan, he was learning lessons that would later translate into business success: integrity, courage, mission first mentality, and that knack for making decisions even without full information.
Exactly. And that idea of decisive leadership, making the best call with what you have, is really the cornerstone of his approach, both militarily and in
Yeah, I get
business.
that. Now, shifting gears to his real estate venture, it's so interesting how he used his VA loan to buy foreclosed homes near his duty stations. Not a clean break from the military, but a transformation from a scarcity mindset to a wealth mindset.
Right. His journey in real estate is like a carefully engineered mission. He started a fix and flip business while still serving full time, and what really stands out is his find, finance, fix, finish framework.
That framework, finding undervalued properties, financing creatively, renovating with precision, then finishing with a clear exit strategy, is a masterclass, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's like a tactical operation where every step is planned and executed with military precision. And he makes the point that in real estate, you make money when you buy, not when you sell.
True that. I mean, it sounds super methodical, but don't you think sometimes real estate can be a bit unpredictable, even with a solid plan?
Sure, unpredictability is always a factor, but his military background, teaching him to adapt and course correct, really sets him apart. It's like he's using those high pressure decision making skills in a whole new arena.
I see your point. And what resonated with me is his idea of stewardship, viewing wealth not just as accumulation, but as a responsibility to serve others and leave a legacy.
Exactly. His story emphasizes that leadership isn't selfish, it's about elevating others and building something that lasts. He even talks about proving his worth by not only making money, but also by mentoring others and passing along those lessons.
Right on. And his personal setbacks, like losing over $200,000 on a deal, really highlight his resilience. Instead of giving up, he used those struggles as stepping stones for a greater comeback.
Yeah, it's like, every setback is just setting the stage for a comeback. That lesson really reinforces the idea of learning from failure and not being defined by it, which honestly is an important takeaway for any leader.
Indeed. Speaking of lessons, his leadership coaching highlights some powerful insights. What do you think about his emphasis on faith, grit, and what he calls the 3 C's: compassion, competence, and courage?
I think it's brilliant. It's a reminder that success isn't just about strategy, it's about character. Those 3 C's, deeply rooted in both his faith and experience, guide every decision, whether on the military front or in business.
Right, character really counts. And then there's the continuity, his advice for veterans about transitioning from a military identity to an entrepreneurial or financial one, showing that your mission can evolve, but service remains the core.
Yes, exactly. It's a seamless transition from serving a country to serving communities and mentoring others with that same passion. It's almost poetic, using the discipline from military service to command financial assets and personal growth.
Very poetic. I also noticed he brings in a bit of scripture and timeless wisdom, like the idea from MLK that if you're a street sweeper, sweep like Michelangelo painted. It really reinforces the discipline of excellence in every role.
Right, that analogy is super impactful. It's like even in the humblest circumstances, you can strive for greatness and leave a legacy. And it ties directly back to his belief in serving with purpose.
Absolutely. But sometimes I wonder if his approach might oversimplify some of the nuances of the entrepreneurial journey. What do you think about that?
That's a good point. I mean, while his framework, find, finance, fix, finish, provides a strong guideline. The reality of real estate is often messier than a neat four-step process. Still, his method offers fighter jet precision to what is otherwise, well, a
I
chaotic
get that
market.
perspective. Exactly. His process is robust, but real world conditions can throw curveballs. Yet his ability to course correct on the fly is exactly what makes him stand out.
Precisely. And then there's his dedication to lifelong learning. After his military career, he went on to earn multiple financial licenses and kept seeking out mentors like John Maxwell and Simon Sinek.
Yeah, learning never stops. That continuous learning mindset really circles back to his career long willingness to adapt, don't you think?
Yeah, it's like every phase of his journey, whether commanding soldiers or handling multi-million-dollar portfolios, is fueled by the idea that growth is constant.
Definitely. And his final reflections on what truly matters service, family, faith really round out the portrait of a leader whose legacy is about more than just financial gains.
Absolutely. His dedication to ensuring his kids learn not just about money, but spiritual and emotional success cements his belief that leadership is about impacting lives kind of
That's
holistically.
deep. In a way, his journey is a masterclass in balancing technical skills with soft skills, leading by empowering others and staying rooted in principles.
Right, it's a juggling act between discipline, innovation, and, keeping your values front and center. And his story is a reminder that whether you're on a flight line or in a boardroom, integrity and service are the true measures of success.
Exactly. One of the key takeaways is definitely that decisions shouldn't be stalled by waiting for perfect information. Instead, leaders must act, learn, and adjust.
Yeah, and that mindset isn't just for military strategies. It's equally applicable in finance, entrepreneurship, and even personal growth.
Right, decisions, decisions. And let's not forget the humility in his journey. Growing up with limited resources yet aiming high, with a mindset that if you're cleaning toilets, do it like Michelangelo, really sets the tone for his entire approach.
Exactly. That humility paired with relentless ambition shows that excellence is always within reach if you're prepared to work for it.
Absolutely. So, in a nutshell, his story is a blend of military valor, disciplined entrepreneurship, and the kind of leadership that transforms not just businesses, but lives.
Well said. It's a wake up call for anyone looking to build a legacy, reminding us that financial freedom begins with ownership of your decisions, your direction, and ultimately your destiny.
Right on. Thanks for this deep dive into such a multifaceted journey. It really leaves you thinking about how to lead with both heart and head.
Absolutely, and it's been great unpacking these insights with you. Keep serving, keep learning, and keep leading boldly.
All right, thank you so much for watching the 10-minute AI recap of the episode I had with Lieutenant Colonel Johnny Lynum. That was a while back, and it's an hour long podcast. So I encourage you to go back and watch the full podcast, which is season 4, episode 108. This one here is season 4, episode 108 AI. So thanks again for watching. So now we are going to do. I am in the 21-day Grateful Challenge, which I've been doing every year since 2021. And this is, I guess, the 4th year we are doing this now. And let me get it. So today is day number 6. Day number 6 of 21 days. So let me share my screen, and we are going to help select the person I'm going to challenge next. So again, follow Johnny Lynum, Lieutenant Colonel, retired U.S. Air Force, on LinkedIn, and also sign up for his newsletter on his website, johnnylynum.com. So today, like I said, I am really grateful for veterans, right? Anybody who has served in any branch of the military for any length of time, even just for one day. It's less than 0.4% of the US population volunteers to serve in our armed forces. And to me, every single one is a patriot and American hero. So I'm really, really grateful for all you do, guys, and for protecting our land and supporting and defending our Constitution. Because freedom really is not free, right? People have to pay the price for our freedom, and I'm very, very grateful for that. So now, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to the wheel of names, and we are the next person who is going to be challenged by me. Someone in my network, I am going to challenge right now. All right, it looks like that's Niranjam Limbachia. She's the founder, CEO of Kiwika Services, and was connected November 12th, 2021. Niranja, let me copy your LinkedIn address here. We are going of the 21 Grateful Challenge. Let's give it a minute. What is going on? Let's do this again. Just a second. One second. Let me find LinkedIn. Here we go. Let's try this one more time. Man, technology. Here we go. So she should be showing up in just. Here we go. Niranja Limbachia from Sydney, New South. Again, is the CEO of Kiwika Services, and I would like to go ahead right now and challenge you, Niranja, to accept the challenge to be grateful for the next 21 days on LinkedIn. So create a post every day and be thankful for at least one thing every single day for the next 21 days. And each day, select a member of your 36,000 plus member of your network each day and challenge them to do the same. So thanks so much for being one of my value connection. And let's start this and expand this movement of gratitude. So I hope you accept the challenge. All right, so this is it for today. I am now going to play you one more highlight from the conversation I had with Lieutenant Colonel Johnny Lynum. And after that, that's going to be the end of the podcast, right? I don't see any questions on chat, on YouTube, or LinkedIn. And thank you so much for joining us. And I will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, I will have a great pleasure and honor of having a conversation with a legendary strategist, three-star soldier scholar, a serial best-selling author. That's Lieutenant General Milford H. Beagle Jr., U.S. Army retired. And we're going to be talking about when the map runs out. His leadership philosophy, which he has written in his latest instant best-selling book, When the Map Runs Out. So that's going to be tomorrow. And then on Thursday, day after tomorrow, I will have the pleasure of speaking with Janet Foudy, transformational leader, best-selling author, and top voice. And she is the co-author of Arrive and Thrive. And we're going to be talking about Arrive, Thrive, and Lead. I can't hardly wait. All right, that's it for today. Again, I'm going to play one quick highlight from the conversation I had with Lieutenant Colonel Johnny Lynum for Season 4, Episode 108. And after that, that's going to be the end of the show for today. So see you tomorrow. Bye.
Yeah, I would think the biggest misconception is that you have to have a ton of money to get started. I would say that is the biggest misconception because so many people, we all realize that we need real estate. We need to have real estate exposure. But a lot of people think that they have to have a large lump sum to get started as a real estate investor. And, I bought multiple apartment complexes where I didn't put any money down. I
Wow.
bought a 24 unit, a 20 unit apartment complex, and I actually got money back at closing because they turned over the existing security deposits to me. And,
Yes.
so things like owner financing and creative financing that you can bring into deals allow you to scale up and allow you to buy assets that are undervalued and that you can appreciate, you can force.
Thank you for tuning in to the Leadership and Success Podcast with your host, Coach BZ. If today's episode added value to your leadership journey, be sure to subscribe, share, and join us again for more wisdom nuggets on how to lead better and achieve greater success. Remember, leadership is the most critical skill of our time. The world will always need leaders to inspire others, drive innovation, and execute meaningful strategy. So why not count yourself among the bold leaders shaping the 21st century? Until next time, stay inspired, stay committed, and keep leading with excellence.